What is up, Bills Mafia? We have 39 days to go until the Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57. This channel is documenting every single day leading up to that amazing moment with a video. Still hanging in there. Obviously, Demar Hamlin's pretty much the only thing on our minds. Are we going to win the Super Bowl? Are we going to make it? Who cares right now? We're still just waiting for great news on Demar Hamlin. But this channel's going on every night until the Super Bowl. And I do believe that the Bills are going to win it. What's up, Big J? Big J. Got some of you back in the house, and I've got some really interesting information on the Bills Bengals game. I'm going to get to here in just a second. I think you guys are going to be impressed. And when it comes to football, well, the football side of things, encouraged. So I'll share that here in a minute. Just real quick update on Demar. Apparently that he is starting to do better. I mean, in terms of better, what does that mean? It means that he is not having any setbacks, I think is what you could say. And the whole dealio is he's going to be, I guess, sedated for maybe another couple days. And they're going to just try to, I'm not a doctor. Like I said, I would be the worst. I would be the worst spokesperson for a hospital because I sound so dumb when it comes to these type of things. But it sounds like they're just going to keep him kind of chilled out there until they can completely get his body recovered and then hopefully get him breathing on his own. You know, and then we're going to find out. Then we're going to find out what type of damage has been sustained from, you know, his cardiac arrest, right? I mean, the guy stopped breathing, heart stopped beating, and that's definitely not good. Not good. But he's going to remain under intensive care, and his health care team continues to monitor and treat him. What we're all hoping for, of course, is to hear Demar woke up and said, hey, yo, did we win? Right? And then after that, soon after that, the news that is that he will, you know, walk out of this hospital. And that would be amazing. That would be an amazing shot in the arm for the city of Buffalo, for the league. And, you know, that would be outstanding. That would be outstanding. And I had a family member of mine send me a text saying, can you imagine if he does recover, come out of it, like how pumped up we will be? I mean, we'll be unstoppable. The Bills will be unstoppable. Playing for Demar and, you know, the excitement and everything. So, you know, football is still there. There's still things to talk about when it comes to the league and you know, this playoff seeding and all of that. Life goes on. We will talk a little bit about that tonight, and I'm going to reveal the schedule that is going to be put in place for the Bills Bengals game. What they're going to do, in my mind, to, you know, get that game back on. Real quick though, hello, Mr. F. Yes, prayers for Demar. And what's up, Rick Beam? Is always right. I pray for him. Let's be honest now. I know. I'm not going to say it. Yes, but I concur. There's definitely something that should be looked into, but apparently we're not going to because, you know, who wants to know the truth about stuff like that? Or even, you know, gain information as we head, you know, as we continue on in life. You know, the science world that we used to know apparently doesn't exist anymore. They don't care about testing and retesting and, you know, double blind. Anyway, so, but thanks, Mr. Bean. But it's starting to come out. Things are starting on that subject. You know, listen, the truth wins out. Okay? The truth wins out in these situations. So there's a day of reckoning coming, and we will know the truth. Hey, and the truth may be completely opposite of what we kind of suspect. So just be aware of that too. So what's good, dog? Alex, what's up, man? What's good? Life is good. Life is good. We're all kind of, gathering ourselves and getting ready for, the next page in our chapter here. Anyway, here is the deal. I'm not going to stay on too long. We're all wondering what is going to go on with the Bills Bengals game. The league has said they're not playing it this week. They're going to go on with their regular Week 18 schedule. I've heard some people say, the Bills should just not play their game against the Patriots. That's not going to happen. They're going to play the game. The player's going to be up for it. They're going to play for Demar, regardless of, what his condition is. Not because they don't care. I mean, if something really tragic happens with Demar over the next few days, then maybe the Patriots game will be up in the air. I don't know. But as of right now, we are playing against the Patriots on Sunday. Okay? And that will be probably for the number 2 seed right now, because we're going to beat the Patriots. The Bengals, who knows what they're going to be able to do against the Ravens. But before this weekend, the NFL is going to reveal what is going on with the Bills-Bengals game. They have to make a decision so teams know what to expect, what they're playing for. Some teams won't start starters, I suppose, possibly, if, the Bills-Bengals game is off. We're talking, I think, mostly about the Ravens, the Bengals, because I think the Bengals win the division if this game doesn't go down. And also teams, as they head into the playoffs, they need to kind of have an idea who they might play so they can start to game plan ahead of time. Here is the deal. The Bills and Bengals are going to make up this game. You heard it from me right here. How do I know? Because it makes total sense. Check this out. How are they going to do it? You're wondering? This is how they're going to do it. And then I'll tell you why they're going to do it. And that's just about as big as, how they're going to do it. Here's the schedule. Okay, so they're on the 8th. The league is playing all their games. Week 18, right there, January 8th. The Bills-Bengals game, makeup game, will be Thursday, the 12th. Thursday night. So basically, the two teams have really pretty much been on a break because they didn't really play but 6 minutes of the last game, or maybe 10 minutes. The Bills will play Thursday night, January 12th. And then you say, well, how can they do that with the wild card games coming up just a couple days later? Well, here's the deal. The NFL will play the wild card games on Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th. It'll be the NFC games and 1 or 2 AFC games on that weekend. There's a good chance that only one team between Buffalo or Cincinnati there's a decent chance that only one of those two teams will actually have to play a wild card game. But if they both have to play a wild card game, the NFL can easily have them play on Tuesday and or Wednesday night, because that will give the teams Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and basically all of Tuesday. That's 5 days, basically all of Tuesday or all of Tuesday, to get the type of break that NFL teams need before they play again. And then you say, well, then there's another, weekend of games coming up right after that. Well, Then if one of those teams move on to the divisional round, then you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and those teams can either play one of those teams, or it could be both, I guess, would play Sunday or Monday night. What I'm trying to say is and then everything else after that is just kind of goes according to schedule, which would, of course, be the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. That's what I see. That's what I'll see. That's exactly what I see. Now, it's not ideal, right? It's not a perfect scenario. If it was, they would have scheduled like that to begin with. You're going to have teams that are going to have to adjust. There are teams that are going to have a bit of an advantage over others. But the game gets in. And here is why I think the NFL is going to do this. There's one reason why they might not, but I'll get to that in a second. This is why the NFL wants to do this. First of all, they want the integrity of the season. That's number one. Number two, it's possible to do. They've moved games around, 2 years ago because of COVID. That's number two. But number three, which is really number one, everybody knows why the NFL wants this game to happen. It's a business, and they're going to want this game to go off as, well, not scheduled, but, it's a game that they have scheduled, and they want these two teams to play. That's number one. They don't want to lose the revenue from that, the advertisers. There are so many other components all the way around it, even all the way down to fantasy football. Man, fantasy football league, some of those championship games were turned upside down. I would hate to be a fantasy owner dealing with irate fantasy participants in my league all fired up because they had Jamar Chase and he only needed 35 yards receiving to win their championship and win $10,000. So, not that the NFL cares about fantasy football leagues, but they kind of do. They kind of do. So they're going to want to get this game in. And it will be Thursday night of next week. And unfortunately, this has probably crossed the minds of the big wigs in the NFL. Can you imagine what type of ratings a rematch, or not rematch, but a continuation of the game between the Bengals and the Bills would get next Thursday? I think the ratings would be as big, if not bigger, than the Super Bowl. Quite honestly, with everything that will go on pregame, whatever they do for Demar to show, that they're thinking about him, everything. The whole thing would just be like the world would stop to watch that game. The NFL would, I'm sure, think it would be a great look. And again, big money, big money. And they keep the integrity of the season. And they have to move, a couple things around. They got to, move some wild card games into Monday or Tuesday. But that ain't no big deal, especially if only one of those teams go to get a wild card game. And we all know the Bills are going to win. We all know the Bills are going to beat Cincinnati if they play them. So the Bills are going to have the bye anyway. So you only have to move one game. One game a little bit later in the week after that Thursday night tilt. That's what's going to happen. Now, there is one thing that would absolutely put the kibosh on that, and that's the one thing that we all do not want to happen, and that is Demar's condition goes down. If that happens, forget about it. It would be bad PR. It would be horrible optics, and the NFL will then just cancel the game, and they would just go by winning percentages to decide where the teams end up. And then Buffalo still has a chance at getting the number one seed if Kansas City loses to the Raiders. But that all these teams need to know this ahead of time. They can't wait for the Sunday results to then make a decision. So all of this is going to come down in the next 24 hours. I bet you there's a good chance we know by tomorrow morning this is what the NFL is doing, because they've been in serious discussions about obviously contingency plans on this. And the fact that we haven't heard already this game is canceled and that's it, we're going on winning percentages, tells me that they're working real hard to make provisions. And probably the only thing that's keeping them from making a statement about that possibility, the change of the games, is they just want to make sure that there's time to find out what's going on tomorrow. So that is my take. I'll show it to you just one more time. It makes total sense to me, especially with all of the extras I talked about, all that money that's to be made and all the situations that arise from canceling the game. The NFL plays their games on Sunday the 8th. On Thursday the 12th, Bills Bengals, they play that night. The wild card games go off as usual, as normal on Saturday and Sunday. That's one maybe one AFC wild card game and then the NFC wild card games. And then if both Buffalo and Cincinnati, or I guess Kansas City, right? No, it wouldn't be Kansas City. I don't know, whatever. Tuesday and Wednesday, they would fit the wild card games in. They would take 2 extra days to give the teams some time, and then it's just off and running for the regular. The divisional game might be moved to Sunday night or Monday the following week to also give the teams more time. But it's not complicated at all. It's not complicated at all. It's a very reasonable solution. Very reasonable solution to that problem. Of course, again, the air came out of my balloon. I don't really have much in the way of, football energy yet. We're all just kind of hoping that Demar will get better. The one thing about the game is, what do? Do they just start playing where the game left off last time? Do they start over from the beginning? Who can play in the game? I know that Teron Johnson got injured during the game. Can he come back and play if he's okay? Sam Hubbard for the Cincinnati Bengals, he was inactive for the game. If he's better, can he suddenly play? That's another whole ball of wax. I think what they would do is they would start the game right where it ended on Monday night. Same down and distance, same score, same time on the clock, and just pick up and go. That seems to make the most sense. So Bob Marsh says that puts the Bengals and Bills at a huge disadvantage. I don't think it really is a huge disadvantage. It is definitely not ideal to be moving those games around, because both of those teams will go into a wild card game if they both go to the wild card, because the Bills might win. They might get the bye week. Then they're fine, but then they also lose time in that bye week. But again, not ideal. But I think overall, with what the NFL wants to accomplish with this game, the revenue, everything like that, the advertisers, this is what makes sense to me. And Bob says the only way that works is if you have no week between the Super Bowl and the championship. No, it goes on its regular schedule after the divisional round. The only thing is you're kind of crunching a couple, crunching the wild card, the end of the season, the Bills game, the Bills, game against the Bengals, crunching the time a little bit, just like a day and a half, 2 days. And then once those are done, and remember, it may just be one team that makes the wild card between the Bills and the Bengals. So it's really, there's a good chance it's just one game. And then Rick Beam says, we don't want to play on Thursday. We will be too beat up for the next week's playoffs. I get it. But again, I wouldn't say it's that big of a deal, because Thursday game, then you have Friday off, Saturday off, Sunday off, Monday off, and then you probably play Tuesday, right? Like by Tuesday night. So that's 5 days. So it is a day and a half less to prepare. Like Bob Marsh says, it's a disadvantage. But, well, this is, like I said, this is not a perfect solution, but it is probably the solution they're going to be going with. See, Bob also says, I don't think any of those teams want to play this year on that field. These guys are more resilient than you'd think. You know, I mean, we've all been through some traumatic experiences. I know personally friends of mine whose, daughter got leukemia, and she was having a bone marrow transplant. Her husband had to go to work. So people got to do what they got to do. These are men, and they're tough, and they can handle this stuff. And I think we need to give them more credit than we do. I mean, it's tough, it's traumatic, but people on the radio were talking today like, how are they ever going to get over this? They're going to get over it. They're big boys. They care about their brother Demar. We all do. And it was a tough situation. But they'll get through it. So Bob Marsh says, I don't think so. People would be fearing and reliving the same thing. It would suck. It's kind of like, yeah, but what better way to honor somebody than to show them we are strong for them and we are going on, baby, and we're not forgetting about you. We're bringing you along with us in our hearts. So, yeah, boy, I kind of miss the old days in the 50s when, or the 40s when the young 19 and 20-year-olds, stormed the beaches of Normandy. Can you imagine if we had to do that now? We can't do that. They're not going to be able to handle it. It's too traumatic. Anyway, we'll be all right. One of my colleagues was at the game. It was eerie. I'm sure it was horrible. Yeah, there's no doubt. But we like Marv Levy said, you lay down, you bleed for a little while, and you get up and you fight again. So, what else we got? Bob Marsh, a good old-fashioned friendly game with our Bengal buddies. Bob Marsh, 3 games in 10 days. No way, Stevie. It's not 3 games in 10 days. No. Again, you play Thursday night. You get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right? There's 5 games there. 5 days off, I mean, right? Like a Tuesday night. Then you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday you play. That's 6 days. It's like a day and a half off. It's again, not ideal, but it's very doable. By the way, I'm probably wrong. After I finish the stream here in a minute or two and turn it off, you're going to have news that the doggone game has been completely canceled. But you watch. I might be right. So then, let's see, Bob Marsh, it's a game every 3.5 days. No, it's not. So I would imagine it. I mean, I could show you this. I'll show you the schedule again, especially for those who might have just jumped on the stream just now. Bob, let's work on this together. Okay? The Bills play on the 8th. Just like twice this year, once this year, the Bills play on Sunday and then they play on Thursday. They do it in the regular season. So they have the 9th, the 10th, the 11th off, basically the 12th, because they play that makeup game on the 12th, the night of the 12th. Then they have the 13th off, the 14th off, the 15th off, the 16th off. They might play the evening of the 17th, or they might play the evening of the 18th. If they have the wild card, they might have the bye, okay? They play that game. Then they have the 19th off, the 20th off, the 21st off, the 22nd off, if they could play the 22nd, or they play the 23rd. And that's another 5 days. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. I'm just saying that the NFL is going to want to get that, game in if they can. So it makes total sense to me that, especially with the amount of, amount that's at stake to get this game in, and also the amount of revenue. And it's an unfortunate way of looking at it, but there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money there. What's up, Bills Maniac 210? Demar would want them to play on that field and get the big dub. That's the type of sentiment I am looking for. Thank you, 210. You got to be from Texas. Okay. So YOLO says, I think they void the game. Yeah, I would say there's a better chance that they do just nix the whole game, honestly. I might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but it's doable, very doable if they want to get this game played. And also, again, it's going to depend a lot on what type of condition Demar is in. And YOLO says Allen is actually injured. I'm not sure what that is, if you're talking about his elbow injury or was he injured in the game. Nobody knows this because we're talking Demar, which is way worse, clearly. Okay. I didn't see anything on the news. Give me a link in the description, or give me a link in the comments if you have something on that. Injury is a word that isn't in Josh's vocabulary. The final week, they have to play. Yeah, they're going to play the final week. That's for sure. They're playing the Patriots. YOLO says, I rolled my ankle like that once and couldn't walk normal for 2 weeks. What? Are you saying that Josh hurt his ankle? Rick Beam is always right. Only thing worse than the NFL losing money is bad PR from the non-football watching community, and this game is bad PR. Yes, if Demar's condition doesn't improve more than what he is now, and they play the game, that'd be bad. That would be a bad deal. But if he improves and the league gets an opportunity to get this game in and they would make a big deal about it for Demar. They're also going to bounce it off the teams as well, right? If both the Bengals and the Bills say, we're not playing this game, we're not playing it, then there's a good chance the NFL will honor their wishes. I guarantee you that the players, for the most part, want to play this game. They want to get back on the field. They're competitors. And quite honestly, they want to play it for their fallen brother. I'm telling you guys, I'm surprised you guys don't kind of catch that drift from these professional athletes. So Cameron says Buffalo signed Jared Madden from Niners in a release. Yep, I saw that. That's interesting. I heard that possibly that means that Christian Benford's about ready to come back. And Bob Marsh is still doing math. He says that's 9 days, 10 days max, 3 games in 10 days. Okay. And then we have, so Josh Allen hurt his ankle. Great. I did not know this. Just the hits keep on coming. No pun intended. Fight on, my men. I am hurt, but not slain. I'll lay down and bleed a while and rise to fight again. Yes, sir, Randy Manson. Thank you. That's a great quote to end this stream on, right? Let's live by those words for now. What's up, Snow Turd? 0 chance the Bills just want to forfeit and give KC the number 1 seed. Yes. Thank you, Snow Turd. I agree. Boy, I like saying that. Snow Turd. So, to wrap this up, everybody look at Randy Manson. Fight on, my men. I am hurt, but not slain. I'll lay down and bleed a while and rise to fight again. The Bills are going to be rising to fight again next Thursday night. Pray for Demar. That's all that's important. Truly all that's important is just praying for Demar If we don't play next Thursday night, if we don't play another game, I don't care. I don't care. I just want this kid to get better. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. But they're going to play. They're going to play again. And so I'm looking forward to it. And so are you. See you tomorrow.